Hello, uglies, and welcome to a special recap of Dragula Season 4 here on reality TV Wrap Ups. I'm your host, Beth Dixon, and I am so excited to be talking about one of my all-time favorite reality competition shows, Dragula, and doing it with such an amazing panel. I am, of course, joined, as always, by one of my other co-hosts for the Drag Race Wrap Up, Aman Adwin. Aman, how are you doing tonight?
I'm wonderful. I'm like really in the Halloween spirit, so it's nice to get to sit down and mix some drag, mix some spookiness all together in one. I'm super excited to be back for this, little special edition of the Drag Race Wrap Up. So I'm excited.
Yes, a little spooky ooky action never hurt anybody, especially on Halloween weekend. Like we're good for this now.
Yeah. Look, my costume is set. I have.
Ooh, what's your costume?
I am a Disney character from the early 2000s.
Okay.
He turned into a llama at one point, but I'm going to be the human form of Cusco.
I love Cusco. That's so great. Oh, that's so great. I can't wait to see it. And of course, we're not alone tonight. And sadly, Liana's not able to join us for this, but we had to go big. Because if you're going to replace Liana Boris, you have to go big or go home.
Yes.
So we have new to RHAP, but definitely not to the drag competition realm or transformation art. We have Jaremi Carey, also known as the host of CosSlay, also known as a guest judge from season 3 of Dragula, the transformation art expert here on the panel tonight. Jaremi, how are you doing?
Good. When you just did that, you were like, and we have a guest tonight. Sadly, I was like, oh wow.
Sadly,
what an intro.
So sad to have you here.
So awful to see you here.
I was like, wow, that's different. I'm excited. Dragula is one of my favorite shows. I'm very vocal about that on my on Twitter. So being there already as a judge on set on season 3, and then now actually getting to watch and give opinions, I'm excited.
And can you remind me when you were on Dragula as a guest, was that the World of Warcraft episode?
They had to create super monsters, like superheroes and super villain monsters.
Oh, yeah. Very cool.
Yeah, it was fun. And to be on set and just be, it's nice to be on the other side of the camera this time. But it's also nice that with a show like Dragula, they have judges that, for the most part, know what they're talking about.
What?
So
crazy.
Yeah, it's nice that people in the field actually critiquing people, like, and it's not like, I don't know, Nicole Scherzinger teaching me how to sew
in the field, and also we're always ingrained in the real field and not just propped up. Yes, that's
or just genuine fans of the show that, like, I don't know. It's nice to be a part of such a show.
Lovely.
So now that you've been a guest or a guest judge, is it like forbidden for you to ever like apply one year?
Well, I would never do that. I feel like that's
are you done with the competition?
Well, I feel like in my career that would be going backwards. You know what I mean? So I feel So I've been lucky enough to travel the world and learn so many things that I'm ready to just share that and give that to other people and have them take little pieces of that and then grow and do their own thing with it. So but if they ever want me to come back and judge or help on set, I would be there in a heartbeat.
How do you feel about being the third Boulet brother?
I would love that. That'd be great.
You would have to come up with like a spooky name. So like they have like Dracmorda and Swathula. Like what would yours be?
Fifi?
Off the top.
I'm just kidding.
I can't.
Yeah, no.
Oh my gosh, that's so.
But
funny.
I'll put the wig back on for them. I'll
put the wig back on. I love. Now, just as like quick aside, like I mentioned before, you have been very not only vocal about Dragula and the artism. I was gonna say the artism. That's not a word. The creativity.
Oh, come on now.
Come on, vocabulary. But like the creativity, the art, everything that comes along with that show. But you just wrapped up a couple weeks ago CosSlay. Do you want to just quickly give an overview as to what CosSlay is and what your hopes are for the future?
Yeah, and the Boulet Brothers were on my show as well. So
Yeah, they were.
yeah, so I did a kind of like all these like drag competition series. I did a one just based off of cosplay, and we had people from around the world compete, and they got to win $5,000, and it was hard. It was a weekly competition, and we had some amazing competitors. But I invited the Boulet Brothers to come on and judge the gore episode, which appropriate, and it was probably the most fun I've had on an episode. It was really, really cool because not many people dabble in like the gore aspect. And I think when a lot of people think gore, they automatically go to blood. Like they think make it bloody, and that's not what gore is about. Yes, that's part of it, but it's not always. And so it's nice to see everyone's take and kind of open people's eyes to it. And then in the end, so many people that never did the gore aspect before are like loving it and want to do more. And I was like, see, there we go. It's fun.
See, I wish that they had taken a few notes, the producers and writers of Halloween Kills, as to learn what gore is. Because that was a little gratuitous. I don't know if y'all saw it or not. It's, in my opinion, the worst Halloween movie there's been so far. But there we are. Fun times. Just thought it would be apropos going into this. So let's chat a little bit just about the first episode. We'll keep it casual. We'll kind of chat just about like whatever pops into your mind. Like, let's chat. But what are your first impressions of this season, the queens, the looks that we see in the intro? Also, just like I also liked like the little background story, which I'm pretty sure was that narrated by Devin Green. I'm fairly certain that was her voice. The like long time ago.
Oh, with the masks, yeah.
There was
yeah. Which I want those masks, by the way. They were selling them, weren't they?
I know. I think they're like $50 or like were $50. I feel like they're over 100 now.
But I think they sold out. Yeah, they're so cool. I want them.
I would have grabbed one and done that for Halloween Among Us, but you know, here we are.
Yeah.
Not happening.
I'm gonna text them right now. Give me a mask.
Full disclosure. I have before hopping on to do this podcast, I have only ever seen maybe like 1.5 episodes of Dragula.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Like ever?
Ever.
Oh.
I know where they made 2 episodes.
Before viewing these 2 episodes, prior to tonight, you were asked. Anyway, so my roommate's actually the one that I would credit with even introducing me to the world of drag and everything. And he was watching it a couple of years ago. I think it might have been either season 1 or season 2. And obviously, it was a big shock for me to watch 1.5 episodes of season 1 to now, because the production value has gone up severely. And even if I hadn't seen season 1, I still felt like, oh my God, this feels fresh. This feels new. This feels innovative. This feels very much full of passion and energy from the creators. So when I started watching, I was like so happy that I got asked to do the podcast, because I thoroughly enjoyed the first episode a lot. And I'm already a big Halloween fan as it is. Like I tweeted about this earlier today. Like the older that I get, Halloween is becoming more and more my favorite holiday, more so than Christmas. So I'm so into the horror. I love dressing up. I love just haunted houses and gore and all of that stuff and gothic stuff. I eat it up like candy, like it's trick or treat. So this was so fun, and all of the personalities that they cast, even a couple of familiar faces, I was like, this is all around. It's like firing on all cylinders. The cast is great. The challenges are electric. The beginning portion with the let's survive throughout the whatever the hell they called that gauntlet of horrors. That was just, I was like, oh, they are really about their shit here. Like they are into it here. So I was all the way in.
And like little details too about the show that I think are really cool, or like the little model mansions that they always zoom in on and such. Like I think a couple seasons ago, and maybe it's still this case, like Swathula literally built that.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Like literally built it themselves, like decorated it whole 9 yards. And so much of this comes, not to take it too literally right here, like their blood, sweat, and tears literally go into the show. And I don't know, Jaremi, do you have any more insight to some of the things, since you've been a guest and have worked with the Boulet Brothers? Are there other little tidbits that maybe people wouldn't know about Dragula that would be shocking for people?
I mean, I was only there for like the judging portion, so I wasn't there for the whole like production part of it. But what I thought was cool, and I didn't know this, and I'm sure a lot of people know this, but like Vander Von Odd, it was a former winner, helps on set now. Well, I don't know if they do it for season 4, but when I was there, they were helping us. I just thought that was really cool that it's like a big family.
Yeah.
And it's like, you would think it's a huge production company, which it is, but there's a lot less people than you realize working on there. And it's so much of them putting it into it. And so it was just really nice to be on set, because it is, like Aman said, it's people that really genuinely care about the art and representation, and showing like there's other
there's other
forms of art. There's other asses
Right.
in the form of drag. No, but there's like different styles and representation or like takes on it, and I think that's really, really cool. Yeah,
right.
I also really like something they adopted, and this didn't, Aman, you wouldn't have seen this in the first season, even in the second season, but last season, and you start seeing it as well this season, every time they're about to start the judgment portion, Drac always says, just as a reminder, you know, drag is art and art is subjective. We're not here to judge your drag. We're here to judge your drag, how it applies to the competition and like the challenge at hand. And I love that reminder. It's like a certain other competition reality show could never. But it's one of those situations that I truly feel like this is a platform that is truly celebrating artists and not trying to fit people into a box, but rather really try to invest in them and have them grow as an artist. And that's what I really like about it.
Yeah, I know, and I definitely noticed that as well when they make, because he says it at the beginning of each and every judging, and so it was a nice distinction to make, because I do think, especially in the land of reality television, no matter what it is, it's a very judgment happy place to be. A lot of people have a lot of opinions about a lot of different things and a lot of different people, and sometimes you can kind of lose yourself in that realm. And so it was nice to be able to have like a bit of a sobering moment to be like, look, now we all out here competing, we get it, like it's $100,000 on the line, but at the end of the day, we all love the fact that we're all here doing this artist thing and support each other, uplift one another, you know, be catty, have some drama here and then, but at the end of the day, we're all artists. So I appreciate that as well.
The drama was brought.
It was to the point. Well, we'll get to it.
I think one of the best parts about Dragula is that they invest in the artist's art. It's not about like, here, put on this wig and we need to see this from you next week. It's like, okay, this is the idea that you're going with. Now, how can we amplify that idea and make it the best version of you? And I think that's great, because a lot of shows, whether it's drag or not, a lot of shows don't do that. It's like, give us what the judges want and not what's going to be best for your career.
It's about fitting yourself into a box that you may not fit in a lot of other shows. And here it's like, here's the box, but instead of trying to make you fit in it, cut it up and make it your own. Like that's what I like about it.
And then how can we make that piece that you took even bigger and better for you? And I think that's great. Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about the queens and the drama. Like, so they walk into they go through the
I don't ever want to hear that I'm a bitch. Ever again. I could not believe this, but yes, let's continue.
I have to say, like, every season delivers on the drama front of Dragula. And Aman, I'm sitting back thinking, like, you have some binging to do, because there's so many wonderful, like, little tips. Like, season 2, I think, came out swinging a little harder with the drama in the first episode. But we were fed. We were fed some blood and some pig guts and other things here. Wow.
I mean, it just felt like people. It felt like they were already fighting before the cameras even turned on. I felt like we got dropped into the middle of it. And forgive me, I'm gonna forget a few names here, but some of the drama just felt so unfounded at first. That was like the whole little thing between Mary and Sigourney Beaver. I was like, what the hell? Like, y'all just got there. Oh, how dare she? How dare she go to the person that she knows ahead of all of you and gives her a hug? Like, fuck her, I guess. Fuck her drag. But it was a lot. And what's the Latin queen's name? What's her name? From Mexico City.
Sabatella. Oh my God, I can't.
Sabatella. Oh my
That's
goodness.
the white version of saying that, by the way.
I wanted her gone. I did. And normally I cheer for people like that on reality TV because they're giving me a little spice, they give me a little some drama. But I was like, where is this coming for? You're doing a lot for no reason. You're going to get so much further in life if you were kinder. Like, it was just so much. It was so much. I couldn't handle it.
My first my first thought when she told Astrid, like, oh, you were a pussy because you like freaked out. And she was like, no, I had PTSD. And then she said, well, I'm not going to apologize because I'm not
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah.
But this is a competition about overcoming your fears. And I was like, no, you can be sorry and also acknowledge that it's great that she overcame her fears.
Yeah, you can be sorry. Go ahead, Jeremy.
No, I was shocked when I saw that side of her because obviously I live in New York. I've worked with her before and I've never seen this. So seeing them in this light, I was just like, what is happening? Yeah, I had no clue. And at first I was like, all right, cuz like I saw myself in that. They're obviously they've gone through something and they're young, and so I was like, okay, you know, I've been there. And so I wasn't going to like judge them too hard on it. And later on, you know, I think the pieces are slowly kind of coming out, like what they've kind of gone through. But there was a lot that, like, I think one of the biggest things you could do to help yourself is realize not everyone's out to get you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially in that circle where y'all are already, you know, a minority to so many people and so many groups that that you should probably look at the people closest to you or that are around you that just have your back. I don't know.
It's
not
hard though.
To fight.
I'm sure that, and I'm sure that you can identify to a certain extent too, where it's like, you know, in the outside world where you may be seen as a freak or something different. And you probably also have a lot of personal experiences of everybody is out to get you. Then you get into this platform where it's competition and you look around and you say to yourself like, well, everyone's out to get me. Even though of all people, those are probably the people who have your back the
but
most.
it wasn't even like they were attacking people that they've never met before. They were just attacking everybody.
They just said, okay, we're in the competition, let's stab.
And I shouldn't use the word attack, to be honest, but like they just had something snide to say towards anybody. It didn't matter who they were. And it was people that they've been in the business with or they've known or stuff like that, which I kind of thought was like really weird. Like, I think there's a difference. Like with me and Jiggly, when I would pop off on Jiggly and I are friends. So like it comes from a different place. Like even when we get into our arguments and everything, I don't know. But I hope that whatever they're going through, they have, you know, the healing. I hope that they find the healing that they need, and I hope that they're doing okay and everything. It was really shocking because they are so fucking talented. They're so nice, like in person to me, and maybe it's just because of who I am. I don't know, but they were just like so freaking nice. And yeah, so I'm interested to see what more is gonna happen.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely, there was parts, because the one thing that, because I mean, I'm comparing this show to another show that we all know, and it, like, one thing that I noticed about this show was that they did take the moment to linger on the conversations that were happening in the boudoir and just allow the drama to continue to go. And it felt to me like, because I mean, we all love a good haha kiki, right? But it did feel to me at some points that it just kept going and going and going, and I was like, okay, could we go to a commercial? Because I feel like if we don't cut, they're just gonna keep going and going and going and going. And so I was like, a piece of me was like wondering, is this for the TV? Because if it is for the TV, then I'm no longer interested in the haha and the kiki. I would rather it be a genuine thing. Like, if you don't like somebody, don't like them for actual reasons, as opposed to just trying to cut them because you're in a competition. But then again, if that's the strategy that they're choosing to employ, all right, okay. I mean, it might work. You know, that, I mean, the mind games, it's optimal sometimes. So, but I definitely noticed that at a point, and I was like, ugh. I think the producers even noticed that there was one point when somebody was popping off at Sigourney on the table, and then they just cut they cut the lights, and it was just red, and they're like, oh, and she couldn't even finish it. So I was like, I think they cut into it as well. So yeah,
that is interesting. I want to bring up Sigourney. So we have, by the way, for Aman, this is kind of a spoiler, but this is the third AFAB. Yeah, this is the third AFAB queen that we've had, or drag artist, I should say, not queen, on the show. In season 3, there were 2, one that was a drag king and one that was just a drag artist. And I don't want to say just a drag artist. I don't want to say it like that. That sounds bad, but is a drag artist. And then, you know, we have, I loved her coming in and saying that she's a female impersonator. I loved that so much. But it's so interesting. In the first 2 episodes, people are really coming for her, and I feel like she hasn't really done anything to deserve that. So it reminds me a lot of, like, from the AFAB artists I do know, that there is still a lot of, like, honestly aggression and sometimes misogyny, a lot of times misogyny that's like baked into things. And even if the other artists don't recognize that what they're saying may be baked in a little bit of misogyny, I think that might be an underlying issue that a couple of the queens and artists are having with Sigourney this season.
I mean, I can only speak from an outsider's perspective because I don't consider myself to be anywhere near a drag artist. But it was something that I personally had to reconcile with when it came to drag, because I always just assumed, drag is traditionally men dressing up as women. And so when I did get deeper and deeper into the world of drag, and I learned about bio queens and female impersonators, or whatever you want to go by, I was like, oh, that's interesting. I didn't think that was actually a thing. But then I'm like, you know what? When you learn about the history and you actually do your homework, you're like, oh, they always have been there. Like they were right there alongside everybody else. So I'm not really sure where I do know where the animosity comes from. But it's wasted energy and it's wasted time. I loved watching Sigourney Weaver in these past 2 episodes. I thought that she was great. I thought that she was as kind as she could be, and I think that she has a lot of talent. So I'm excited to see whatever she brings to the table in the next couple episodes.
Jaremi, have you had a lot of experiences with AFAB queens or drag artists or kings in your various tours and travels?
I mean, yeah, of course, like from all aspects. So for me, having these spaces that we get to share, because it's not me sharing my space, it's our space to share. I find it absolutely ridiculous. And there are those cis male queens that will continuously just be like, oh, they don't belong here, which is just, it's so ridiculous. Like we can the world's our stage, you know what I mean? And there's plenty of room for everybody to be on it. And watching other artists, I take from other artists, I get inspired from other artists. So to see someone else's take that doesn't necessarily have mine or like my upbringing or inside, because I see drag in a different light, I think just benefits us. It's so annoying. And I do have to agree with you, Beth. I think that I think they already saw that an AFAB artist came in and was like, I'm a drag queen, and that they felt intimidated in a way, because they were like, oh well, you don't have to do this, that, and the other, like you already look like this. And I think that's someone's own insecurities, because if you're confident in your shit, you don't have to worry about who someone is.
And maybe like a little bit of just like jealousy a bit as well, because not only is it like, oh well, you don't have to do all the padding as much or use the breastplate or whatever the hell, and not only that, but you also get to participate in this performance art and then walk away and people not look at you weird. Because in a lot of ways we're still on, like, a lot of people that are participating in drag are still on the fringes of society. And so even with as much success as the new mainstream form of drag has brought a lot of queens, it's still not, something that is heavily celebrated throughout the world. And so I feel like for some maybe cis male drag performers, artists, they sort of like to wear that sort of trauma as a badge of honor. It's like, oh, well, I've been through the real shit because I am a gay man, whereas this woman over here doesn't have to experience that. So her art is somehow less valuable than mine. And I'm like, that's a little trauma porny. I don't really need to be involved in that conversation.
But I think that also goes down to gay men thinking that everyone has to have their issues to have a place here, and they don't. Everyone has their own, and a lot of these AFAB queens have the same trauma that we have. You know what I mean? And they're all a lot of them are part of the queer community, you know what I mean? So it's I think it's ignorant in any cis man to be like, hey, they don't experience what I experience, they can't be a part of this. Like, to me, that's just ridiculous.
And it also just it diminishes the fact that, like, while they might not walk away and have had the gay male cis like experience, they've experienced life as a woman, or at least
which is hard,
which is already different and marginalized and oppressed and such. But then if they're queer on top of it, if you're talking to a cis white drag performer or a cis white man, it'd be like, well, actually, She's likely gone through a lot more if she's a queer woman than you have. And I think you're right, Aman, that sometimes is like kind of this idea that like, oh, it's not about me. And I think at the end of the day, that's a lot of what this competition is like to learn what is about you and make that grow in an artist standpoint. And what are the things that we share, whether it's the space in which that we're in, the art, what trauma do we share with other people to help inform them of experiences so that we're more sensitive to things moving forward, or that we can say, yeah, I've had that shared experience myself. And I think that's what I think is one of the best parts of a show like this, is that you do have those moments where you can sit back and say, oh, you know what? I didn't know this perspective, or that this went on because this isn't anything I've ever had to worry about before.
Right.
And I think a show like Dragula does a really good job, even though the girls are fighting, they do a really good job of showcasing, you know, the before, during, and after of a lot of these conflicts, so that people do grow, I think, after these competitions, and the audiences do too.
And it's about the art, y'all. It's about the art. Like no matter wherever you are, male, female, whatever. If you're not a good artist, then you're just gonna fail at the competition. It doesn't matter where you come from. If you are a good artist, then there it is. And so
Absolutely.
I love that first and foremost over anything.
So I have to be slightly shady now that we've had this wonderful conversation, because I was going through my notes and I was looking at the introduction portion where people are kind of talking about each other. Zavaleta was going after everybody. Everybody was coming back at them and everything. But then there was a moment where Formaldehyde said, yeah, I have a huge online following, like on Twitch. I can't find them on Twitch.
No, don't tell me that. No.
And so I'm wondering,
are you sure it's a different name?
That's what I'm hoping is the case. So I'm hoping, I'm sitting back here like, please tell me you have a different name. And if so, can you share it?
It is kind of weird that it would be a different name, since that's like her. It like I thought that the Twitch was like about her drag, right? So it'd be interesting if it's a different name.
But also Twitch can be really like specific, and like you could literally put in Formaldehyde, and then it's like, actually there was a space, and like for whatever reason it didn't show up, but it showed up all these other names that are not even
there's
related.
There's an underscore here.
There's an underscore here. Yeah, exactly. So I don't know, but it was one of those moments where I was like, I love digital, you know, artists that come on here and are trying to explore their performance side, their live performance side, and kind of grow in that capacity. But I sat back and I was like, I need to see the digital portion if that's what you're claiming to fame.
I'm like very fascinated by this whole digital webcam queen versus performance queen argument, because I've seen it come up a lot nowadays, especially with the onslaught of COVID-19 and everybody's been forced to be at home. I find that there is so much performance value in digital queens. I feel like that so much of that is sort of undermined because you're not on stage grabbing dollar bills on a Friday night in the neighborhood. Like, I feel like, yes, each one has its points, each one has its valor, but I've never really been one to think, oh, just because she's a digital queen, then that means that she doesn't know what the hell she's going to do on stage. I don't think that that's the case. I feel like there's so much performance value in digital art, but maybe that's just me. Now, we haven't always had the best examples of that. Some of them definitely do fail, but I don't think they fail any harder than some of the other queens that have claimed to be on stage every weekend. So
yeah. And to be honest, I mean, you're also preaching to the panel here, who are all three content creators online who, you know, Jaremi.
Yeah, maybe it's a personal bone that I have to pick right now.
Listen, I'm valid for the content I put out there. No, but it is true. Like, I mean, I honestly, like, I really hate just like supporting Jaremi constantly on this panel. It's like really awful. No, but the fact that like Jaremi literally just produced and created a whole reality competition show on his Twitch page. Like, that and not all of those artists all did it for the digital sphere. Like, it is absolutely possible for people to sit behind their computers and come up with really creative costumes or lighting or scenery or any combination thereof. And so I totally agree with you, Aman. And I think that I'm hoping that becomes less of an issue for competitors moving forward. I just truly think that comes down to like, oh, we don't know what you're going to do, so we're just going to try to get in your head right now and tell you, oh, you can't perform.
So educate me, because both of you would probably have a better idea than I would. This is the first time I've ever heard of a mask queen. Is that like a popular demographic within the drag sphere? Is that like a thing?
It's not well, it's not a huge one, but there are a few. There's a few that I even follow too. But their looks are just incredible, and they have different faces for each one of their characters and everything too. I have to say, I love Formaldehyde's mask. And I think it's fucking spooky as all hell. Like, I loved it. But I'm going through like their Instagram and everything. They do makeup, like they do makeup really, really well. So it's not like they can't do it. I just think that's a great look for their character, the persona that they have. I think it's incredible.
Yeah, we can get into the looks here in a second for the first episode, but I think I'm going to be honest, like after all of this wonderful talk and such, I didn't agree with the judges for a lot of the ups and downs and safes and everything. So this first episode was interesting when it came to the judging and into the look. So essentially what they had to do for this first competition was recreate and reimagine a horror icon. And so some of them went true horror, like slasher film kind of thing. Some of them went more camp, and some went cartoon, which I loved as well. All of it was valid. All of it was great. So what I've done is, put together just a few pictures of the looks here. So the first up we have is Astrid Aurelia from Phoenix, who is Dahlia from season 2 and Resurrections. And now when we find out in episode 2, also season 4, this is their drag daughter, but this is Astrid as I was going to say xenomorph. Is that xenomorph? That's right, right?
I haven't seen any of the Aliens versus Predator films, so don't ask me, baby.
I saw the first Alien a long time ago.
Are we getting into the critiques, or what are we doing?
Yeah, give me your thoughts. Give me your thoughts.
I'm obsessed with this.
Yeah.
It's just so fucking good. And you know what I love is I'm gonna say it because they're my friend and I can say this, but it's not like, when Bob wore his like robot Amazon looking bodysuit. So there's obviously a bodysuit under here, but it's completely painted to give all the electronics. But then they went and took it up another notch, and they added that to the outside of it as armor, which just it's so good. I was worried when I saw the face mask at first because I was like, okay, is this gonna stay on? Like, what's gonna happen here? And then when they took it off and they had this like blunt punk looking bang, and then the makeup was just like the same as the piping that's on the body. It was just so good. That cut scene where they throw the tail, and it was just it was so perfectly sent. I don't know. I was just looking at like cinematic wise. I was like, oh, it was centered, and it was just so good. I was like, it was just incredible. And the silhouette when the lights were off and they do like the reveal, I fucking love this. And as like a cosplay artist as well, one of my favorite things about cosplay is anybody can take it if you kind of learn like the techniques and stuff. Anybody can take something and replicate it. Cool, it's done already for you. You just got to copy it,
right?
But to take something and draw inspiration from it and then make it your own, I thought they completely they nailed it.
Yeah, I also agree. I thought this was absolutely Astrid wins this first episode, and I wasn't mad at it. I was definitely fine with Astrid winning. I felt like this outfit altogether was just every minute detail was thought of, and the performance I think was the strongest one. The floor show was the best one in my opinion. Good. So I agree. That shot, I knew exactly what you were going to say. You're like, that one shot was like, whip the tail.
Yeah.
Oh, so good.
I whip my tail back and forth. I whip my tail back and forth. Yeah, that was. I didn't know what she was at first because, like I said, I haven't seen it in the Alien films. I thought it was like a scorpion from Spider-Man at first. That was like, oh my god, this is amazing.
There's so many references happening right there.
Reference City.
But no, I have to agree. Like taking the mask off and the wig that they had on, just everything was thought of to a T. And the detail, it's always in the detail. And I love that. That was sort of like yes, exactly. So yeah, I was pleased that they won. I thought it was well deserved.
Do we have all their pronouns by chance? I don't want to misgender anybody.
I don't have their pronouns, and I wish I did. I'm fairly certain based off of.
I'm kind of referring to everybody as they them because I don't want to offend anybody.
That's
so,
fine. That's
yeah,
fine.
Yeah.
I definitely agree. I know that Sigourney goes by she, her, and I know that just hearing Astrid like in drag goes by she, her. So I'm kind of like in the space of like if I've
I think
heard them
most
be
of
referred
them
to,
are
but
she. I don't think I don't. Well, I'd have to go back and watch, but I think most of them were she. But you know, they them is always a safe choice.
Absolutely. Well, speaking of someone who I'm also confident is a she, the next one, whoops, I have to go over here. The next one is Bitter Betty. So Bitter Betty is the oldest queen on the season, the oldest artist, and is a trans woman living in LA, I believe. So she's like the
Oh, she
only.
moved? I thought she was in Chicago still. She moved?
Oh, I just looked at like what the wiki said. So I could be really wrong.
She might have moved. Maybe I didn't know. But yeah.
I think that she did move, and I think that that's why Sigourney was like, "Oh, it's been a while since I've seen you," since like she walked in. But I could be wrong. I don't know. But Bitter Betty comes in with this Elvira look, and was put in the bottom for it, which I kind of agree with. But I felt like she could have been interchanged with one of the safe queens, which we'll get to. I definitely felt like this didn't go far enough for Elvira. But I'm interested. What do you think, Aman?
Yeah, they did because they were very clear with the instructions of this challenge. They said inject a bit of yourself into it. We don't want this to be cosplay. We want this to be like an elevation of whatever it is that you're going for, a reinterpretation of classic icons, not just classic icons. And so, yeah, I do think that this look was Elvira. I mean, it's gorgeous. It is whatever, but I don't know. Like, maybe stone a tight or I don't know. It just needs something. It needs a little bit of zhuzh to it. So I thought that it was appropriate for her to be in the bottom. And I probably agree with you too, Beth. Maybe someone else could have been in the bottom over her. We'll get to it, but yeah.
Jaremi, what are your thoughts on Elvira here?
So I agree that it should have been in the lower. I don't think she looks bad. She obviously looks incredible.
Yeah, she looks fine.
But when it comes down to the challenge, it was do not replicate. And immediately this is Elvira. So if you were to take this and then kind of make it into something that's not an exact replica, I don't know if many people know this, but Bitter Betty has their own like wig company. They do hair and everything like that. Yeah, so like that could have been a perfect opportunity, not only to play with like her skills as a hairstylist, but hell, you could have sold some products with that. But like think of it like this: you could have changed the Elvira dress, and you could have, I don't know, wore it in purple, and then had like the purple signature Elvira hair with your tits out and everything like Elvira does, and that would have still been a nod towards Elvira, but not copying Elvira. So even down to the little blade that Elvira always wears in her around her waist, it was just I think it was too much like the character and not enough of Bitter Betty into this design.
Yeah, I definitely agree. It's basically, this is Elvira if she had some holes in her costume and also had black fingertips and weird teeth. Like that's the only thing that is really different. And when I look at it, I just see Elvira. Honestly, I look at it and go, cheap Elvira. Like trying to be spooky, even though this isn't a cheap outfit by any means. It's not a cheap wig. Like I can look at this and go, oh, okay, like this is, substantial. I agree. I really feel like there could have been like, why not do Elvira as like a vampire in like a sexy suit kind of situation or something like that. That's like a murderous kind of look there. I don't know. Just something that would like take her look, but apply it in a slightly different capacity. Have a cape with it instead of like those long sleeves or something. I don't know. There could have been some differences there.
Yeah, I agree.
So the next one we have is Coco Kane from Tulsa, Oklahoma. And she was Morticia Adams. And what are your thoughts, Jaremi? I see that smile.
For me, this would have been in the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lycra dress with some slits in it and some safety pins. Do I think she looks beautiful? Absolutely. I love her hair. I think her hair is just stunning. I like to do Morticia like that. I was just like, oh, work, bitch. Like, that's great. I love the rose. It just, to me, the dress looks a little like an afterthought. And including the mermaid tail, it's like it's really like okay, Morticia's very clean. She's
Mhm.
very like pressed and polished and just really like put together and poised and everything like that. And this just wasn't giving me Morticia at all. Other than the hair, that was really it.
Yeah, Mom, what do you think?
I think I agree with Jaremi, and I'm also a little because I understand what she was going for, because she said that she wanted a bit more of like a black representation of what Morticia Addams would look like. You know, obviously, not all black people have the same fashion sense, but I know exactly what she's going for with this particular representation of a black woman. I get it. With that being said, I am sort of missing a little bit of the Morticia. I love the fact that she switched it out for braids instead of the long black sleek hair. I think that if the lips were redder and if she had like a black rose, I would feel a little bit more. Because right
She does have
now
a black rose though. I don't know if you know that.
is that it looks like a skull. Is
Yeah,
that a rose?
that was
the
her black
petals,
rose.
yeah, that's her
Yeah.
black rose. It's
So
like
she
the
did have
petals
it,
around it. Yeah.
and she has all the
Okay.
aspects for this outfit. It just didn't translate like what
Yeah.
she was thinking it was going to translate.
Well, see,
to.
yeah, it doesn't even look like it just looks like a skull head to me. I don't see rose
It's
at
because
all in that.
Yeah.
so it was a rose that had like a cup in there so she could drink the blood that she poured on herself.
Okay, so
which,
she like unfurled it. Okay.
yeah, and then even the Boulet Brothers called it out and said, like, again, I don't associate blood with Morticia either. And then this is remember at the beginning when I was like, a lot of people think gore and they think blood.
Yeah.
And that's not always the case. And
Right.
so I think there was I thought that was a little messed up on that part too.
Yeah.
I didn't get a good sense that she knew who Morticia was. And I think that everything that both of you have said has just kind of like solidified that for me. I felt like this at most should have been safe. I don't think I would have quite put it in the bottom
It wasn't horrible. Yeah, it was
but
fine.
I also, when she came out, I literally went, who is she supposed to be again?
Mhm.
Is this supposed to? Oh yeah, Morticia. I can see. It's like once you know the character, then you start to pick up on the details.
Yeah.
And for a floor show, that kind of thing, we should go, oh, that's an homage to X. Now I can see the details. Not I need the details in order to figure out who it is, kind of thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. But
we
yeah,
talk about her face though. Her face is fucking stunning.
It is.
both in and out of drag. I sit there and
right,
go,
they're beautiful. I was just on their Twitter just and I was like, damn, they're like they're beautiful. And I just the hair and the makeup is just, it's perfect for me. It was just that outfit. It's just not.
The hair is the star of this ensemble. I
wish the like this version that she's trying to go. I wish it was more like had some like Mugler vibe into it for Morticia. Cool. I just feel like Morticia had such that silhouette, which she got body like, but I just don't think it was the right shapes and stuff for her in this one. So
yeah.
So moving on, the next queen we have, or artist I should say, is Formaldehyde, coming out with the mask and being Billy the Puppet from the Saw franchise. Now, Formaldehyde not only is in the bottom, but ends up in the bottom too and gets exterminated this episode. I'm going to be honest. I know that the Boulets really hate the combat boots thing, like, and they've said it every season, like, don't come out here thinking that you're doing something with combat boots. It's like the one and only thing where I'm like, okay, that you are really just kind of controlling one aspect of their drag here. But I don't know if I would have said this was as horrible as other people said, because I don't think that the outfit is amazing, but the homage is better than some of the other people's homages. And I feel like that, if fulfilling the assignment, should take a little bit more weight, but that's just me. Aman, what were your thoughts on Formaldehyde's outfit?
I mean, I think the obviously with the face of the puppet, right? That is the biggest calling card for Billy the Puppet. You're gonna know instantly who it is, and so I think it's a very easy look to play with, because as long as you have that, you're golden. I guess I was a tad bit underwhelmed. Like maybe if she had, I don't know, maybe a tricycle would have been a little bit too cheesy. I don't know.
No, that would.
I would have loved that. I would have loved that. But do it like what is it? Scary Movie 4? Like come out.
Yeah. like a tricycle or maybe like a little scooter or something. I don't know, like just something to like really pull it together and give it a little bit more like animation and depth, because I do feel like I was just missing something here. I do love the touch of the syringes though. I thought that was excellent.
Yeah. Jaremi, what are your thoughts?
So, well, first off with the boots, let's talk about the boots, because I know that they hate the boots. I don't mind the boots. The only thing that I do mind about the boots is that they're so brand new and clean, and they clearly just stuck the syringes in there. So if you're gonna wear something that they obviously don't like and they're gonna critique, then at least dirty them up to match the rest of the outfit, so that way it looks like it was a collective piece. So that piece was like skipped out. And look, I know I've been there as like a drag artist that like spend lots of money on stuff like that, and you don't want to fuck it up. I understand, but like, I also didn't do that on national television. Like, you know, I'm gonna give a full look. So what bothered me most about this, and it wasn't with her, it was with one of the judges' critiques, is that they said that they're a huge fan of Saw and all the movies, but they couldn't understand where this was coming from. I'm a huge Saw fan. The moment I saw that face, Billy, the moment I saw the syringes, it's the one scene in Saw that always gets me, because I can feel like that scene just causes so much emotion. This when she drops into the nail,
the needle pit,
into the needle pit, and then it gets stuck all over her, and she has to pull it out. It was so brilliant, and because some of the judges who said they were fans of the show didn't understand the references, I thought that they kind of put her in the bottom for that. Maybe I would have done like the traditional Billy hair. Like if you're gonna do red, then you could do like, you know, he has that like Mad Hatter like puppet type hair on the sides, like kind of tease it up a little bit. I think that would have been a little bit more effective. But the moment that they walked out, it was like this little creepy child doll that just came out on stage, and I was like, "Oh, word, bitch! Like that's good."
I definitely agree.
Yeah, but then this goes back to Coco. Like, there's just little things that I think could have been like refined and tuned up a little bit that really could have really sold this. I love the mask. I want it in my house. I think it's really cool.
The mask is so cool. And I do agree. I think that the like trench coat dress kind of look is a little plain. I mean, it has like the fake blood smeared on it, and it has a couple syringes.
Yeah, it's like giving like, I understood what she was going for with it. Like sort of like more like medical examiner type deal looking thing. But I do think that it was just a little bland.
But then it's like, why are your like tights completely clean? Why are your boots completely clean? Right to your exact point there. I would have loved if there was like 100 more syringes, like just something that went like way over the top. Like, I think that would have just been like, okay, if you don't get it now, like get it.
I also think wearing all black was kind of with blood. So like that's obviously not blood, that's paint. And so I think like fake blood reads better on white. Especially because the way it dries, or the way that like if you just pour it on like right before you go on stage, it's nice and wet and that dark like color. I think that would have read better than like black, like blood on black would never look like this.
It would just soak in. You wouldn't even be able. It would just look like it was wet.
So I think it would have been more effective if it had been like, because Billy wears the a suit. He's a puppet. Yeah. So I think like something like that would have been like really, really interesting to play with.
Yeah. Right. Definitely. Well, R.I.P. to Formaldehyde.
R.I.P. I liked him. He was cute.
Yeah. Next up is Hoso, who I'm obsessed with. And I know that Jaremi is too, because of Jeremi's tweet ahead of time. So I'm going to give you the floor. But I will say that obviously Hoso is going for the other mother from Coraline.
Well, first off, I feel old as fuck that so the challenge was, you know, take classic, you know, characters and do this. And the fact the other mother is considered classic, I'm just like, oh my God, I'm old.
The fact that Hoso was like, you know, when we're children, and I was like, I was fully like,
I'm a grown ass adult
when this came out.
Yeah.
Wait, it wasn't that. Wait, was it that? Wait, hold on. When did it come out?
I felt like I was in high school when it came out. I don't. Maybe
Coraline
came out in 2009. I was
2009.
I was in college.
Yeah. I was a grown ass adult when this came out. So the fact that they said that, I was just like, oh my God, I'm old.
Can I be really brave? I've never seen Coraline.
Oh my God. Okay, so anyways, the outfit is great.
I know the reference though. Like I know what happens.
So like it looks just like, you know, the girl's mom, and then eventually it turns into this monster, this grotesque monster, which is what Yoso is portraying right here. I think it's great. I do think this kind of dabbles very close to, I don't know if you've seen the formation when in the movie. It's fairly close to the character, so I think that's why we were able to get it so fast as well. But other than that, I do love this. One of the hard things to do is to play with patterns and make them match. And I think they did such a great job at mixing all the dots and everything on here. The little buttons, there's so many buttons on there. There's not a close-up picture right now of their eye makeup, but the one eye that had the button sewn into it.
Yeah,
so
that
cool.
was, I had to like rewind when they showed the first close-up. I was like, wait, what is going on there? It's so ugly, but I can't look away from it.
Yeah, it was
that
just
makes
so
sense.
well
like
done.
It was so grotesque and creepy, but in the most alluring sort of way. I was like, yeah, there was so much detail that went into that. I really enjoyed watching that.
You know what I would have loved is I think it's a cape on the back. And I've said this when I was a judge on Dragula too. I don't like capes. I think it kind of takes away. If you took off that red in the back and just had this little shape, I think it would have been so much more effective and given her this like really cartoony look, because it kind of, the red cape hides the body in the back.
Because it's Tim Burton, right?
Yes.
No, Coraline's not Tim Burton.
That's not.
No. Coraline is by. Hold on, let me look.
I thought it was Tim Burton.
Everything creepy and animated.
Well, it's of course.
No, it's Henry Selick.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
In any case, I'm familiar with the animation style of that film, and I agree with you. I think that the cape sort of like drags it down. And I really just want to be able to focus on the windy, whimsical like animations of the body, and I think that the cape doesn't give for that a lot of the time. So
I also feel like the red eye with the button would have popped more if there wasn't red right behind it in a weird way. When the whole set is black and black is the main color that you're working with.
Maybe it is Tim Burton. I'm looking it up. Why is Tim Burton's name not on here when you look it up?
Is he a executive producer maybe and not a?
I don't know. I'm looking at the list. Maybe he did do this, and I'm a horrible fan. I don't know.
You should look up Tim Burton Coraline.
Well, so when I look it up, it says director Henry Selick.
Yeah, he might not have directed it. He might have like written it. He may have produced it.
I don't know, but yeah.
But either way, like I said, I haven't seen Coraline, but I do know the story, and so this was actually kind of cool for me as someone who hasn't seen it to kind of get an idea of what that other form really looks like for the other mother. I love the huge long fingertips, like just little things like that, and the way that Hoso acted on the stage was really enthralling.
Yeah, you always bring it home in the performance, man.
Exactly.
So I looked it up. Tim Burton did not produce or direct it.
Oh, yeah. Didn't write it?
No, so it says
was he first boy?
Selig worked with Gaiman, who Gaiman was the executive producer of listed on the movie, but Burton's not. Yeah.
I can't wait. The listeners at home are going to be like, oh, these people are dumb.
Yeah.
Didn't know.
Hey,
maybe his name kept popping up because everybody keeps searching his name with it, thinking that it's him.
Well, the same. It's the same style, and yeah, so it's easy to mix up. But yeah,
right.
I just want to say as a side note, I think Hoso's really cute out of drag. So yeah.
I didn't want to make it about that, but you're right. Yeah.
No, I will make it about that. I like his little smile. I'm like.
And then turns into this creature, and I'm just like, yes.
It's amazing. Yeah. You can see little shades of the creature though, like, and like they do like this little like side smile like thing that I'm like, I'm obsessed. Okay. The next queen we have Jolie coming in as a Sanderson sister.
What is that reaction?
She ate the bugs. She ate.
Oh my god! I thought you were talking shit about her. I was like, what? Yeah.
What are your thoughts here, Aman? Yeah.
That's all. I couldn't get past that. I just couldn't get past it. I just said, okay, you win, fine, take it, whatever. Like, get off the screen. I just couldn't take it. I think the look was fine. I just was personally overshadowed by the ingesting of bugs. I just couldn't take it.
Oh god.
Side note, this picture makes it seem like her arm is coming out of her elbow is going the wrong way. And
It does
that
look
to
like
me
that, yeah.
really actually it looks like it's halfway up here. Her bone is like out of place or something. It's really creepy. I know that that's more the camera angle than anything else, but Jaremi, what are your thoughts on the outfit and the performance?
If I saw this picture right now and didn't see the episode, I would think this is at a club somewhere. It to me it this is cosplay to me. I know that
I said the same thing. Sorry, continue.
Yeah, no, you're fine. I fucking love Jade. She knows this, but it's like, to me, I feel like it's as if I took one of my, like, if I took Rita Repulsa and then I ate a bunch of Putty Patrol on you know on the screen, something like that, or bit the Power Rangers heads off or something. But so she ate the worms to kind of make up for that, but to me, for just judging the outfits,
they're probably just sitting in their tank, just sitting there thinking, oh,
it's
we're just gonna live a good life.
They're good for you.
They probably, like, as she bit them, they probably just kind of multiplied, and they were like, oh, we have multiple things, and then
now she has worms.
acid.
Yeah, now Jade has worms. So they yeah, I don't know. And to me, this is if they're gonna judge Bitter Betty on looking too much like a character and then not say anything about this one, then I have an issue with that. Just because, like, you're not this is Sarah Sanderson, I believe is her name. That's her.
I completely agree. I felt like I watched her come out and I went, did she get this at Spirit Halloween, and then zhuzh it up a bit? Like, that's what it kind of reminded me of. That's pretty harsh. I love Jolie.
Yeah.
But, and like, even the mop was a little busted to me. And I was like,
what did she do with the mop?
She came out like kind of riding it a little bit and then just kind of like threw it on the ground. I was like,
right.
Yeah, it does look a little busted. It's a little,
I just look at it, I'm like, were
it's
those
a little Family Dollar-esque? Yeah.
I think it's really nice to see Jade though in this aspect. Because Jade is one of the most, like, creative people I've ever worked with. We've hung out till the sun came up in the morning multiple times. Like, just a really great person. And if I saw her today, I'd tell her, like, girl, that was a great cosplay. That was a lovely
You should audition for CosSlay season 2.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I agree. And I'm actually really excited to see, I'm excited to see Jade for two reasons. One, I really feel like many other people who have been on Drag Race, I felt like Jade was especially put into one category and then like was a little young in their drag and all those different kind of aspects, and just I don't think really ever got a fair crack at Drag Race, if in my opinion. I think is best known for the back rolls comment, and I think like there's so much more artistry to what Jade has to offer. I've been keeping up with just social media because I haven't had the opportunity to see them perform live. So I'm excited for that reason. Two, I'm excited for, once again, wow, out of drag. I'm here for it. Ooh.
What happened there? What did you just say?
Out of drag. Woo woo.
Oh. Yes.
Also the voice. Oh, like,
yeah, he's like, hey, what's up? It's
Jolie.
Like,
hey guys, let's fucking just go do this floor show. And I was like, oh, okay.
Let's go, bro. Yeah.
I was like,
yo, bro. Like, I was like, oh, okay.
I was like, they tried to give this motherfucker Taylor Swift's Grammy on stage. Like, wow.
It's so funny to me, but that's exactly it too, right? Like, Jade is now, in order to, like, you know, help build her platform, is also like had to basically go into one box, which is Taylor Swift impersonator, but like has so much more to offer. So that's why I'm super excited to see Jade on this season. But I wasn't as excited about this outfit.
Yeah.
All right, next one. So now we have Zava coming on up here as, what's it called? The pale man?
The pale man, I think she said.
And Pan's Labyrinth, I think. Was that? Yep. I've never seen Pan's Labyrinth.
What's wrong? What's happening?
Well, here's the thing. Do you like him? I'm like, let's talk about Dragula. And I'm like, I don't know the references.
Oh man, I was so excited for this because I love that movie. I just think it's great, but it's just you need to watch it. Y'all have a lot of shit to watch.
Well, it's a good weekend for us to do it.
There's just so much. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was just gonna say, like, I kind of felt like this was a one-note costume, quote unquote. But altogether, like, wasn't mad at the performance aspect of it. I anytime you get that like weird, like slimy kind of stuff on, you sold me into thinking it's gross. So I just felt like they made such a big deal with the hands and then like didn't really feature them that much. It just came in, like, did more with the backhand portion, and I was like, no, show us the hands, like that's the whole point. I don't know, I don't know if I would have put them in the bottom two, but I wasn't mad at them being in the bottom. I don't know.
Well, I was interested by this because a big reason as to why they ended up in the bottom was because of the pumping situation with the blood. Apparently that was like a really big hang up. And to me, I was like, oh wow, because looking at the show, what they show you is just the edited cut of their performances.
Right.
So I'm thinking, okay, there might be like a little, all right, cut. All right, let's go again. All right, let's roll. Okay, cut. I thought that's kind of what it was, but I guess no, they actually have these queens coming out and giving you an entire show. And if your show includes props, then yeah, you need to make sure that that's together. And so I thought that was perfectly valid for her to be in the bottom, because like if you're just going to be sitting there pumping on stage, like you're taking me out of the situation. I thought the look was fine. It's certainly creepy. I think it's even a step further creepier than what you actually see in Pan's Labyrinth. So I thought that she definitely nailed the reinterpretation of the Pale Man. I think she got the assignment, and the read that she gave Formaldehyde at the end was kind of accurate. It was bitchy, but it was accurate. It was like, look, they didn't read me for what I had on. They read me for what happened. They read me for execution, not for my outfit. You, on the other hand, no. So we're not in the same level here. And I was like, okay, talk your shit, girl, talk your shit. But yeah, I agree. I think that you need to make sure that your shit is together, and if it's not, then was the breaks, child.
So I don't agree with her comment to Formaldehyde because I don't think this comment, or I don't think she should be focused on someone else's outfit when like this outfit wasn't what the character is. So I think maybe the eyes fell off or something because they were doing it. Maybe that's why they couldn't show it. But I think instead of worrying about a blood or pump, that like if you're on set, and this is just anybody that's an entertainer knows this on show, shit's gonna break. That's just part of it. You move on, you keep going. And especially on a set like this, where it's everyone's on a time limit, you got to do what you got to do. If it doesn't work, be like, fuck the pump, let's go. Give me those hands and that moment that they do it in the movie. And you didn't do any of that.
That's what I guess.
You didn't do any of it. So when they came out and it was like that slimy, disgusting. I didn't know if they were the Mummy. I didn't know if they were a classic take on the Creature of the Black Lagoon. I didn't know what it was. I had no clue. The character is actually very white. Obviously, the Pale Man. They had this like huge round bald head. That's very more like alien-esque than this like melted. It looks like someone took a brown napkin at a restaurant and cleaned up a table, and then this is like the crumpled up napkin. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, but I see that's what I kind of liked about it, was that it was a more like sort of like deteriorating.
But that's fine.
Version.
You can like that, but then that's not a representation of what the character is. So that it's great. And if that's the challenge, is to take that and then make it your own. What part of this is her? You see what I'm saying? So that was a challenge.
Her eyes aren't even in it.
I mean,
or on her hands. So
the eyes are a fatal flaw. That's true. I just felt like it wasn't it. I felt like she understood the assignment and that it was supposed to be a reinterpretation of what the Pale Man looks like. And maybe to your point, if I didn't know that she was doing the Pale Man, especially because the eyes are not in the hands, I'd be like, okay, what is this? So I understand that, but I guess coming into it, having known that's what the Pale Man is, I'm like, okay, I see what you're going for, sis.
I don't know what version you saw, but this is not the version of the Pale Man. That's like some Canal Street version, because that's not this one. But it just didn't. It wasn't the assignment. It just didn't was not the Pale Man. And even the judges were like, I didn't know who they were. And if all the judges had that same consensus, like, it's like, okay, well, I missed the mark on this look a little bit. The Pale Man's bald. Where did these like weird hair
strands
pieces,
of hair?
Yeah, what is the story behind that? I have no clue. And you know what? If you wanted to be the Pale Man too, they sell these really cool like round bubbles that you can see through. The Pale Man has no eyes on them, which is why they have the eyes on the hands. You know,
Right.
You could have done that and seen right through it and not have an issue with it. I just think like I would have rather have said switched her character instead. I was doing like a swamp creature. Then I'd be like, oh yeah, I get it. The slimy,
or
the crawling up from the ground,
crumpled up napkin at Hooters,
something. Yeah, I am a brown napkin wrapped in barbecue sauce. I would have been like, yes, bitch, yes, you are. And then like,
classic horror.
It would have been great. But I don't think it's fair.
The classic horror of America's.
I don't think it's fair for her to sit there and attack Formelda for not having like they didn't like her outfit when the judges did on camera, it's on the episode, critique her for not you know, portraying the character that they said that she was doing. So I think this is another case of like, just worry about yourself, girl. You're an amazing artist. You're like an incredible performer and everything. Just worry about yourself. Don't worry about other people.
Yeah. So the next performer we have is why was Mary not in the bottom? I'm sorry.
What's going on?
First of all,
what's going on?
Stay Puffed Marshmallow Man from Ghostbusters is a classic horror.
What's going on?
1, 2, why the tie scarf? 3, why the belt? 4, why the scarf on the head? 5, what is that? On? The mouth looks ridiculous, and like this was all around. I'm genuinely curious. Why the judges for 2 episodes don't put Mary in the bottom? Like they clearly wanted to in the episode 2, that to the point where they put a whole.
It looked like there was a disclaimer. Exactly.
They put a
disclaimer in there,
which they've never done that before. Where they're like, now we're going to do a judging before the other guest judges are here. And I couldn't tell if that was. I know I'm skipping ahead to episode 2. I couldn't tell if that was purely because they were like, we've got 2 white girls here as judges, so let's give our real expertise judging and then go. But I really like there's got to be something with Mary going on, because how this wasn't in the bottom, and I honestly felt like Mary should have just gone home. Like this was god awful. What? Can someone at least explain it? Am I missing something?
You know what it reminds me of? You know when you go to Times Square and you're like, hey, here's $5. I want to take a picture with the Marshmallow Man. Like it's one of those outfits. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't. There's
like the off-brand.
It's a little like off Broadway. Yeah. It's one of those.
The Times Square
like when the
version.
Elmo comes out of nowhere and like hugs you, and you're like.
I do love it. I for a different challenge, maybe. Sure. I love the shapes, how they got this. I thought it was great. It's a great Marshmallow Man.
I love it for how bad it is.
But there's things that don't make. I don't understand the scarf when it has like that like Cracker Jack sailor looking thing is what they wear. The belt, I don't know what you're trying to cinch if you're the Marshmallow Man. I don't know what's happening here. I don't know what I'm looking at.
I get more infuriated too because Mary is so high on her horse in episode 2 about being like, well, I pulled it together, and they're like, I'm like, you what?
It's so funny. It's like it's I think it's funny. Okay, I don't know. Okay, so when I think of like monster and horror and all this stuff, I don't want to. My first reaction is not to necessarily laugh. And like when I saw this when it walked out, that was my first reaction, which then tells me like, okay, well, that wasn't. I wasn't. I don't think these are the emotions I'm supposed to feel for this challenge. But again, this could be this is close to cosplay too. But I have to Google, like, is Ghostbusters considered like horror?
No, it's a comedy.
Well, okay. You see, so
okay, I just looked it up. Comedy fantasy. Yeah.
I wasn't as obsessed about that because for me, like. I'm fine if you take any like classic sort of like Halloween / horror / thriller theme, that's enough for me. Because like somebody could have came out as like the house from Monster House, and that's technically not horror. It's an animated Halloween children's movie, right? But I still would have been
Jade was, a Sanderson sister. That's
right.
Still like a comedy little kids movie.
Right. So I don't really care about that. I just don't like you. There has to be a way for you to inject some, like, if you're gonna go for something that's comedic, you still need to inject some horror into that. And this is
not it.
What is going on? I don't know what it is. It's like very like she's a snowman for all I know.
I can't look at this image.
Or the Pillsbury Doughboy or the Michelin Man. Like, I just don't.
I agree. So I will say that one of my peeves for this challenge was that comment about the classic characters, because they said in the very beginning, which I was so excited for. I've done a photo series when I did 365 Days of Drag. I did a whole series during Halloween to classic horror film characters, which is like Frankenstein, it's Nosferatu, it's the werewolf, the mummy, all that types of Dracula. It's all those characters, and like nobody did any of them, and so I was just like, oh well, then change the title then to something else, because
like
that's what
horror.
like a horror genre. Yeah. Turn a character into a horror genre, which is kind of crazy that Boulet Brothers was on my show CosSlay for that, because that was the actual challenge. So for my show, we were like, take cute and cuddly characters that you would normally see and then flip them into gore. And I think if that was like this challenge, I think that this would have been better, but it's still missing the gore aspect. It's a great what's his name? What Marshmallow Man person? It's great.
Stay Puffed Marshmallow.
I think it's a great cosplay of them. I think it's fun.
He could have like, if you want to make it gory, you could have like made yourself a marshmallow that's literally getting roasted. Like, put a stick up your ass.
Yeah.
Get some flames all over you. Get the little broily, like, when the marshmallow gets all brown and shit. Put those as like scabs all up and down your body. Like, I want to see you melting.
You could be oozing. Yep.
There we go. That's it. See, meanwhile, I'm sitting here like the whole reason why the Stay Puffed Marshmallow Man is like scary, quote unquote, in Ghostbusters is because like they come alive and they get big. So I was thinking like it would have been cool if there was a way to like inflate and get bigger or something or whatever. But I don't know. I like Aman's idea much better. All right. In an effort to move along, get this off our screen, we're going to move to Saint as Leatherface from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which I have seen, Jaremi. You'll be happy to know. You're welcome. I also love Running from a Bubba and Dead by Daylight, so it is my favorite person.
I love this. This was one of my top picks. It was just so beautifully done. The way that the skin was like pieced together on there. That mask was not just I don't know if they made it specifically to their face, but it wasn't just like a regular mask you can buy at the store and just cover. It was like perfectly fitted to their face. I just loved it, and I wish that they cut a lot of them out that we couldn't get to see. It was just like a really quick, like, here, you walked out, maybe because they were safe. But I wanted to see more of this because I just think it's so good. I love it.
It was so good. I agree. Aman, what were your thoughts on Saint's portrayal?
Well, I kind of just have a crush on Saint, so that probably just colors my perspective a bit. But yeah, I liked it too. They can do no wrong in my book.
If I had to nitpick anything, it's that clean ass classic pump. I would have loved to have. Yeah, I would have loved to have like take that.
Yeah,
skin.
I wasn't sure about the whole bottom portion of the outfit in general, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't mind this like sexy like little like skin apron dress thing going on. I think that's great, and I love that it's kind of has that like masculine vibe with the button up on the top, to, like as a nod towards Bubba. But the shoes, what I think would have been even better since you're doing this like sexy thing is to take that fake skin that you made this out of and then apply it to like a nude pump so it looked like her shoes were also made out of
That's exactly what I was gonna say. It would have been really cool to do that. I would, but
that's if I'm nitpicking, because other than that, I love this. I think it's so good. I want to see more of this.
Oh, Saint's just hot.
They're just like they are, and their faces. That's another one that just has a beautiful fucking face, and it's just so. I just love them.
I'm loving their confessional look too, with like the braids pulled back into a top knot, and I'm just sitting there like every time, like I literally had to rewind multiple times because like I didn't catch what Saint said. I'm so mystified right now. Like, oh wow,
I'm glad we are on the same page.
We're all on the same page when it comes to Saint. And our last one for the first episode is Sigourney Beaver as the Bride of Frankenstein. So here you go. Here's a
Girl,
classic.
I thought that was Trinity Tuck for 1 second.
This is safe, in my opinion. I like this like you know, homage to like fashion or whatever in this first look. Now, I'm not showing the second look because it's a lot of tatas and all that fun stuff. I liked the reveal and the floor show after the reveal. I thought that was a little bit more like in character.
Yeah.
But I got the classic portion with just like the little the way that she was presenting herself with the the fingers down and the movements and all this different. I liked that. It did bring me back to like those classic like Frankenstein and Bride of Frankenstein kind of things. But I don't know. And then like completely tear away, and now here's Sigourney Beaver. But I didn't get Bride of Frankenstein other than the hair for either looks, and I don't know how to change that.
Yeah, I guess she was trying to go for like, Bride of Frankenstein, like freaking the sheets and the streets type deal by the like the pull away, which was fun. Definitely using her assets. I mean,
use them assets.
I appreciated the leopard. I thought that was interesting. But I think I tend to agree with you, Beth. It was a little to the side of the Bride of Frankenstein.
So my thoughts.
Come on through, Jaremi.
So this is what I was talking about, like playing with shapes and stuff with Coco. Like if Coco were something like this in all black for Morticia, I think that would have been excellent. Wonderful. I do think that the tail on this one too, the mermaid, is just a little. It looks like they attached like a tutu on the bottom.
Yeah.
I don't really like that. But when it came to the challenge, and again, I keep going back to the challenge. The challenge was take a part of yourself and then turn a classic character into something else, but make it yours. And not cosplay. And I do think she did a great job. So like this is Sigourney right here, and then reveals it into the Bride of Frankenstein. And I did like the bride. First off, I love that her tits were out, and I thought that was more of a statement than anything. Your tits are out. I love the tassels with the little nodules from
that was so cool. I thought
that was clever.
Yeah, that was nice.
I like that the hair was not the direct like white and black that we always see. I liked the I don't know if it was like latex or it was patent leather, but she did have the wrappings that would go on the bride. And so I like this. It wasn't my favorite. Like for me, this was a safe look.
Yeah.
And I think that the reveal was just we didn't need this. I think like the reveal was so much better than this that we didn't even need to see any of this.
I agree. When she came around the corner in this, I was like,
I didn't know what it was.
She did the reveal, and I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Now we're talking.
So I didn't know when I first saw this. The first thing that I thought of immediately, because again, Tim Burton fan, Mars Attacks. I thought that's what she was doing, like a nod with Mars Attacks. And I didn't get Bride of Frankenstein until she took it off, and then I saw the bandages and then the nodules, the little nuts and bolts. Yeah, I just thought that was so clever. It was good. It was.
So she had nuts on her titties. Gotcha. Cool.
Apparently, what's her face is supposed to be the new Bride and Frankenstein in a reimagining of the film. What's her name? Scarlett Johansson.
Can we quit making over films?
Can we quit putting Scarlett Johansson in those kind of things?
Yeah, I was going to request that before the remake. Yeah.
Oh gosh. Well, there we are.
That was all 10.
Those are the looks for the first episode.
Wow,
that was fast.
Yeah, I think. Should we skip ahead, see if I'm wrong? Do you guys want to talk about the season 2 stuff, or do you want to just go into season 2 outfits and talk about the drama and such about the episode
season
as we go?
You mean episode 2?
Episode 2, not season 2. My apologies.
It's your show. Whatever you want to do.
Well, I have this up, so let's move on. Oh, yeah, I was right. Okay, so we have episode 2 now, all of those looks. So this was Nosferatu beach party, which what I'm enjoying that the Boulet Brothers are doing this season is normally there was kind of a disconnect between their opening, like little like campy, spoopy scene that they put together that stars the Boulet Brothers. I like that they are tying it in not only to the challenge but also to the deaths this season. I think that's a really strong choice to do just to make everything a little bit more cohesive. And I really like that. So this episode starts with them at the Nosferatu beach party, and then the challenge for them is they are paired up to do a lip sync. And like performance as a Nosferatu beach party character, essentially. So like create your character, and then you're going to be like essentially in a music video lip syncing with a partner. But then they were judged as individuals. So I was like, I also didn't understand that they were really in partners because they were all on stage at one time. So I just kind of felt like that was kind of a mess, to be honest.
They had like their own little featured moment together, but it was sort of difficult to sort of parse that out from the whole thing.
Yeah.
I always find that like lip syncing challenges are always a little hard for me to judge, because it's one thing, you know, it's one thing to have two competitors go head to head in a lip sync, but it's another for it to be like a group thing, because then I'm like, I feel like I'm spending time looking at this person, but then I'm missing what that person is doing because I'm looking at this person. And then on top of that, when you compound it with the fact that this is all an edited cut, I feel like we're missing so much of what the judges are either hating or loving. And so I always find like, okay, I guess anybody can be in the bottom because they all look fine to me, you know. But I mean, one of them, specifically Mary, was, you know, you could tell that she was in her head the whole time and she really should have gone home because she did the worst, in my opinion. But yeah, this whole challenge for me was a bit nebulous.
What's going on, Jeremy?
Aman's just funny. Yeah, this challenge was hard. So I think this is when that other show does lip syncs better, because they tend to give people solos, so that way we can at least see everybody do something. Granted, we do actually do that performance quite a few times on there, and then they'll cut and paste whatever they want. So they, in the end, they'll show whatever they want to show. But at least they give everybody a chance to do something. I thought this was a mess. I thought like it was so hard to follow. First off, I felt like nobody was really a lip syncer on this. Like I didn't really see anybody
for the most part. Like they were all in one. They all had to hit a mark, and I'm like, where's the performance part of it?
I had no clue who to look at, what they were doing, and then when I was watching them, they didn't look like they knew what they were doing or what they were singing or saying.
Or the words.
Like,
nobody knew the words.
And it was the first time that
they learned that song 5 minutes before.
Yeah, it might have been the first time they heard it. They so it was really hard to watch, and it was actually the first time that I was like, oh, when is this over? Like, just get to the critiques, because I just genuinely didn't want to watch it. But as far as like the partner thing goes, I thought and maybe because I've been in this setting, I would have done whatever I had to do to stand out. So I think like Astrid trying to like do that for themselves, because at the end of the day, we're in this together, which kind of was a weird with the judging. That didn't make any sense if they changed it. But if we're in this together, I'm still gonna shine, and like I'm not gonna be someone's shadow. Like that's just not gonna happen. And everything on Sigourney's always just so far what we've seen has been so clean and so like perfect. And then that she wore that like adorable bat, which I'm sure we're gonna get to, but that bat black and white striped top, which that print alone just automatically gets your attention over your partner who's just in this black. So it was a little hard. I do think Astrid looked beautiful though.
They really came for her outfit, and I didn't think it was as necessary. Like
it's that era.
It's of the era, but make it 2021 fashion, like horror fashion. Like I truly thought that.
The only thing I didn't get is vampire, and I know that's what they were going for. So I mean, if they were going to judge them on I don't mind the fashion. The fashion is very much of that era, but I do think that they didn't need the what do you call it? The fascinator? They didn't need that. But I thought they looked beautiful, but it just didn't read vampire versus standing next to Sigourney, who gave me like this Bratz, Monster High vampire, doll look. And I'm like, okay, I get it. Like, and that it's cute. So, yeah.
What did you think, Aman, of Astrid?
No, I agree. I think that it was I don't think if that was like her strategy, because at first I didn't know what oh my goodness, I keep forgetting this girl's name.
Sigourney?
Sigourney? No. The one that was able to pair them all up together.
Oh, Zavatella.
Zavatella, there we go. I didn't know what she was going for when she put them together. But then it sort of became apparent when you see what each of them brought to the table this time around. And I do think that they say that they're judging you individually, but they're still comparing you to the person that you're out there with.
And they did, yeah. I'm like,
so yeah, I think that there was just a bit of a disconnect with Astrid.
And I did agree with the judges in saying that, like, I also felt like there was a lackluster portion of the performance, but I felt like almost everybody had a lackluster. The like notable exceptions for me were like Saint being sexy, and Dolly, I thought was like did that like I knew exactly like what like villain kind of thing Dolly was doing, but
and then I would say Zalateva by proxy of Saint.
by Saint, yeah, and also looked.
But their chemistry was just so good. We're gonna probably get to this again. Well, I'll save it for that.
I'll save it for that. Yeah. And the other thing, just some background information, as I kind of just brought up Dolly. Dolly enters the competition for this episode and will be there for the rest of the time, which I am. Well, I don't know. They might get eliminated. I don't know, but very excited.
And what is the relationship? Astrid is her drag mother, or the other way around?
No, the other way around. Dolly is Astrid's drag mother.
Gotcha. Okay.
And Dolly was in season 2 of Dragula and had been doing fairly well, was pretty strong and consistent, got eliminated about halfway through with a really poor elimination challenge.
So why did Astrid say that her track record was better? Only because she won something the first time out?
Challenge.
Yeah, Dolly never won a challenge when she was on season 2.
But Dolly also okay, whatever.
Yeah, Dolly also lasted longer. But Astrid didn't know that they were going to go home.
Yeah.
So
that's true.
There's that. They also did have a mini competition where they had to eat a head of garlic.
Okay, I was glad that we skipped over it, and now you have unleashed all of my.
I've never eaten raw garlic. What is it? Bad?
It is spicy. It is really hot. That's why they were crying, is because it's like
I love garlic, and I was like, okay, cool, let's go.
Yeah, garlic. I'm fine with the garlic.
Jeremy,
blood.
I'm sure it wasn't pig's blood. I'm sure it was pig's blood. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it wasn't like
they have said before, like they have done like intestines and such on the show. Like Aman, like they fully do like survivor eating challenges, but like make it gore on this show. But they've also fully said, like, we love animals, we hate humans. So, which is
okay. Because she was like ethically sourced. I was like, how do you ethically source that much pig's blood, girl? Like,
I'm pretty sure, because they were like chasing down
the garlic. With the garlic. People were happy to drink the pig's blood because that's how spicy garlic is.
And the texture of it to me didn't look like it looked more milky. Like it looked like it had like a raspberry juice or something. I don't know what it was, but it was like milk, like thick. So I don't think it was pig's blood, but the garlic obviously that was real because I saw their emotions. but I loved it.
But also, it's not even. I thought you'd be able to like at least peel the head of garlic. I didn't know you also had to eat
they were eating the skin.
And I was like, what? I would sit there. I was like, where's my knife? So I was like,
I'll take mine minced. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Oh my God. Can you imagine how bad everyone's breath smelled after that for like a hot minute or 7 hours, you know? Oh goodness.
I'm shocked no one did. If that was me, if I'm being 1000% honest, I think I would have just sat there and let them do it. I'm like, I don't need to assign me with whoever. Like like it wouldn't have bothered me. Like go ahead, eat it. I don't need it. So, like
I would have loved the Boulet Brothers being like, Jaremi, you're in the bottom this week because you decided not to take part in the pig's blood drinking contest.
Whatever.
And you'd be like, okay. I'm just being strategic.
Okay, let's go. I wouldn't be in the bottom, so that wouldn't happen.
Oh, well, I'm saying that they would put you in the bottom for only that reason. They'd be like, Jaremi, your look and floor show were fantastic, but unfortunately, you didn't want to participate.
That would be iconic. I would do it.
If you're like, you know what, I'd go down in history. So I love it.
Garlic.
Prior to tonight, you were instructed to eat garlic.
I was just getting in character for the challenge, which was a vampire challenge, so I didn't feel safe being around that garlic. Thank you very much.
How ironic was that? They were like, you all have to eat a whole head of garlic. Now be a vampire.
Yeah.
Oh, so good. And then so the pairs, just so we remember them, is Zavaleta and Saint, Mary and Coco, Sigourney and Astrid, Dolly and Hoso, and Betty and Jade. So those are our pairings. I was not smart enough to put them in order of their pairings. They're in alphabetical order. So here we go. So Astrid does go home. this episode, unfortunately. And we move on to the next queen, which was Bitter Betty, who was also in the bottom two this week. Now that you said, Jaremi, that Betty makes their own wigs and everything, I really see that. I mean, I thought that this wig was so cool. I loved it so much. But like, is Betty's thing like weird teeth? Because like,
so she's done it twice in a row so far, and I don't know,
Yeah.
but no, she normally doesn't do that.
Okay.
I will say though that I've seen this outfit and like on promo, like just photos that she's done for like promotional work and everything. So when I saw this, I was like, okay, yeah, it's a cute, it kind of it fits that era, especially with that little shawl and everything and the hair. But I would have loved it if she took like something like I take this back to Sigourney, who did the bat shape. Like if you did something like the little bat made out of the houndstooth and a little bat on that would have taken it to a different level than this. But it was a miss for Bitter Betty, because not the look, but the performance was just not there. It just and I've worked with so I used to do Katy Perry impersonations, and Bitter Betty used to be hired for that, and so we would do a lot of the same parties. So I know that they're a great performer and has an incredible stage presence and just lovely. It was just really weird to see them like that, which again, maybe they did give it to them 5 minutes before. I don't know, but there was just no connection with the music for her in this. So
she was definitely one that I noticed the most for all the wrong reasons. And I thought that her being in the bottom was perfectly apropos. And she looks gorgeous. And yeah, I did. Now that you say that about the wigs, I did see her, taking a little extra care with those wigs before putting it on. But I do enjoy Bitter Betty. I think that she's stunning and striking, and I hope that she can pick it up in the next couple of episodes. But yeah, this wasn't her tea. She was so stiff. I mean, a lot of them were. So let it be known that a lot of the critiques that I'll be giving out for this particular episode, you're going to hear a lot of the same thing, because a lot of them are like that, with the exception of 3. So. But yeah, probably her more so than others. So I agree with her placement.
Also, this stage, just so y'all know, is not very big.
I can tell they were crammed on there.
Yeah. So that could have also played into their performances for a lot of these people, because they don't really have the room to move. So maybe they're looking down like, okay, can you go? Because not only do they have what 10 people on stage, but now they have all these props and all this stuff up there now. So I mean, that could have played into it, but I don't know. It just I feel like some people a lot of these people have been back before or already on TV, so they know where their camera is. And I feel like Bitter has not really been exposed to that. And I think you could tell that on stage too.
Well, they fully gave her the critique that was like, you didn't even look in the camera when it was focused on you. I was like, well, that just is someone who's not used to being on camera. In the same way that people who aren't used to being on stage don't know how to quarter and like that kind of thing. Was that called quarter out?
I don't know, but I know what you're talking about.
The other thing that I think I'm interested to see your thoughts, if you agree on, I think that Betty's the only person on the cast who has now said multiple times, I'm intimidated by this person. So I actually genuinely feel like their performance is clearly just being like, everybody else is doing better than me. I think that there's like an aspect of that in their head that's making them pull back a little bit. I'm hoping that this extermination challenge will do exactly what Zava was able to pull from last week and like really propel her to do better for the 3rd episode.
Right.
Very cool. All right. So now we have Coco, which I do once again now want to go back to where you were like, that stage is small. They're all on top of each other. And I like the moment.
Like,
and she's like in the background.
like laid out.
But like, this is when she had the stage to herself. But when she gets into the background, she fully just like, they were like, don't let anybody upstage you. And I was like, they were all upstage for her because there was no room for her elsewhere. So like, where was she supposed to push people out of the way? And which, I mean, I would. I'm a Leo.
Oh, yeah.
I would fully do it. But I'm just sitting back and I'm like, kind of like, well, it seems like they were placed in certain places and didn't know if they could move. I think that's what the issue here was. But
well, the one thing I did like was that there was like a little sand castle on the stage, and she was smacking her titties up against the towers of the sandcastle. That was hilarious. I think that her being paired with the stank pussy herself, Miss Mary,
Oh my God,
was going to, really just push her above the top. So she really lucked out with her partner.
Yeah, but she was in the bottom 3.
She was in the bottom 3,
but her partner should have been in the bottom 3.
Her partner should have been in the bottom 3. So I don't understand that. I do love the bat wing ears. I thought that was lovely. And yeah, I disagree with Mary being over her. I think she definitely should have been.
I hate this outfit. I like the
ears.
You
do? I like it.
Oh, I hate this outfit. It doesn't give me anything about Beach Party, nor does it give me anything about Vampire, for the exception of the ears.
It's because it wasn't. Honestly, and we've all been there. Performers like drag queens and artists and stuff, and drag artists, they've all been there. It's like, oh, do you have a leotard? We're going to the beach. Let's put it on. So this is probably a performance outfit that they had. That they just put on. It's like, oh, it matches my red hair. Again, face up, beautiful. I think iconic. You know what I think would have been smart for Mary and Coco would be to, instead of doing vampires, like traditionally how we would think of a vampire, to be like, no, we're creatures instead, because that would still fit in that realm. And then Mary would have been safe by saying, I'm an anglerfish, and then Coco would have been like, I'm a bat. You know what I mean? So it still ties into this realm. It was just an odd pairing, and I think I noticed immediately in this pairing that Mary was taking control of everything, and I do feel like, and we could kind of tell here that Coco's very a passive person when it comes to group stuff, and it's kind of like, just do your own thing. Yeah, well, what are we gonna do? Because every time Mary asked something, it was always Coco, rebuttaling with, well, what do you want to do? type of thing. And so, but I think the ears are so great. And yeah, I just think that, I agree with Mary should have been below this for sure.
But I will say this, Mary's outfit was a more thought out concept. And I understand this idea of the idea of like the vampire of the deep sea.
Right.
I don't think it worked, but I think it was a more thought out, like head to toe outfit than this was. So it's
is that what she said? A vampire of the? I don't think
that's what the judges said, and she went, "That's exactly it. You got it."
They're giving. I think they're giving her more, because that's not what she said.
That's not what she said, and that's what I think is so funny. Is like, once again, like the judges
she said
were
an
like,
anglerfish to make it spooky.
Yeah.
She said, "I'm gonna be an anglerfish."
But you know what? She's smart. I would have been like, yeah, that's exactly what I did. Oh, you got it.
And that's exactly what she did. Yeah, exactly. They were like, so you were trying to go for like vampire teethy creature of like the deep sea, like, well done, you really stood out. She was like, thank you for getting it. And I was like, girl, you didn't even know until right now that that's what you went for. But yeah, so Coco's in the bottom. There we are. We have Dolly next, and I loved this performance. I actually felt like, even though Saint was like super sexy, I thought that Dolly should have won. I got the character immediately. There was vampire aspects to it, but it was also like old timey cartoon robber kind of like, ooh, like I loved those kind of aspects that just really were interesting. The character was different from everybody else on the stage. It just really turned it for me. What are your thoughts, Aman, on Dolly's character here?
Something about this is giving me like Dennis O'Hare from American Horror Story. I don't know what it is, but I'm getting that from this. I thought that, I mean, I didn't know much about a lot of these queens, especially Dolly, having that she's, come into the competition out of the blue. So I didn't really know what to expect. I do agree with the judges that she sort of came in and was like, all right, this is my second chance. I gotta give it all I got. And she certainly made her mark here. I think that out of everybody in the performance, that she was really sort of like going that extra mile, aside from like Zayn and, or excuse me, not Zayn,
from Philippines, Survivor Philippines.
I liked her performance.
I love Jeremy, what are your thoughts on Dolly?
So I like Saint and I like Dolly's equally the same. I think they just did two different aspects of like
Totally.
two different things. So
Yeah.
but what I loved most about this is that for this era, I felt that Dolly fit in this way better. It reminded me of like Rocky and Bullwinkle, like Boris the villain, like Natasha and Boris. It reminded me of that old type of character. Even I mean, Boris even wears this like trench coat looking thing. But it was so perfectly done, and it stole the show. And he was in the back. And so they stole this show, even being from the back. And I think that just is a testament to like their art and their showmanship and everything, but they're also a performer. Like they've done music, they've had a very long career, so like they knew what they were doing. But I loved it. The makeup is great too, and like I got Nosferatu out of this, so yeah,
exactly.
Nosferatu.
Well, now we have Dolly's partner Hoso, which I have to say, I felt like the makeup worked here. I was a little nervous at first. I didn't like the original outfit, which is why I chose this photo instead of the one that had Hoso's name on it. Because I didn't like that. It looked like a negligee more than like a beach cover up, which I believe is what they were going for. But I liked the way that they interacted with Dolly. There was a lot of personality there.
They had they had a couple featured moments, I feel.
Yeah. I felt like it was a pretty plain bathing suit, but it was of the period. So like that worked at least. But I don't know. Jaremi, what do you think about Hoso?
Yeah, I wasn't a fan of the beginning either. If it was like going into the bedroom, sure, awesome, yeah, that would have worked perfect. But it was the beach, so that like what Bitter Betty wore, that like sheer looking one, I think would have read better on this. And even if it was in red, I think that would have been great. But you know what, maybe that's all they had. Cool, whatever. But the reveal I thought was great, and the wig into that mod looking like swimmer's cap with the hair short and everything. I was not expecting that. I thought they were just gonna take off the robe and have this outfit. I actually didn't mind, and I know they said they don't do like traditional glamorous like lingerie like this, but I didn't mind the shape of it. I love the shorts because that's perfect for that time too. I thought it was great, and this goes back to like the chemistry, their chemistry together on stage, and maybe that's why they shine so well, is because their chemistry was just, it wasn't forced. Like, and if they did mess up, I couldn't tell if they did, because they just played off each other so well. The blood on the face, it was just, I thought it was really, really great how they were just like, yeah, we're in blood, we're vampires. Like, I just thought it was so fun. It was a fun performance. And I do agree that the makeup, I think why the makeup works so well here too, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it was more, normally they do uneven eyes, and I think on this one it's more even. So I think that's probably why and it's a little bit toned down than what they normally do. So I think that's why it also reads a little bit better with this like era. But I love that they didn't completely forget who they are, and they kept that makeup that's just like, okay, that's Yoso.
It really does also just give you.
I said Yoso, my god, what the hell?
But it also I feel like it just really fits a vampire, like there's like almost like a weird gothic vampire with like an Eastern influence here that I really, really appreciate and immediately get without having to think about it. That just works for me. Aman, what are your thoughts on Hoso?
I know, I loved the look. Again, and I agree. I think that the chemistry with Dolly was great. I loved the reveal into the swim cap with more hair under the swimming cap. I thought that was so funny. And then she kind of like went for like a bit of like a lifeguard type feel. So I thought it was great. I think she was definitely middle of the pack. I don't think that she was particularly standout, but definitely above quite a few of the others for me.
I felt like she was the fourth best performer. You had Saint, Zava, and Dolly, and then she clearly was like they were the top four, and then everybody else was about the same when it came to, except for the ones who were really bad. Speaking of other performers, this is Jolie, and it's so grainy. I know that it's kind of hard to see Jade's face in this photo, but Jade had the kind of striped outfit, which was similar to Sigourney, and made me wish that maybe they had been partners together. But yeah, what are your thoughts here, Aman?
Okay, well, the face was great. I like the face. Other than that, a girl was doing this the whole time. I was like, is like, were you injured that day? Were you tired that day? Like, I just feel like, who was our partner again?
Bitter.
Jade's partner was
it
Bitter.
Bitter? Yeah, they were doing this like little Hawaiian choreography the whole time. I was like, okay, give us something else, girl. You got freaking I'm forgetting all of their names. You got people screwing each other with crocodile floaties. You got people biting into each other's necks. You got people like checking on the grill to see if the burgers are ready. You got all these bits going on around you, and you're just in the background standing around. I was like, come on now, girl.
Come on, girl, give us nothing.
Yes, yeah. Exactly.
Jeremy, what'd you think?
Well, I mean, right off the bat, it's a Barbie outfit. And so
Barbie's never won those spoons.
But that black and white is the Barbie dress, and
100%.
she's and Jade's even wearing the classic Barbie like ponytail almost. Like that the classic Barbie that we all know to the beach wears. I love the face makeup. I think the face makeup is great. But to me on camera it read, and maybe it was just the lights, it read blue.
Yeah.
Which then I would have rather had the entire body blue. So like if your tights were blue, and maybe it was, and I just couldn't tell on stage. I don't know, but that would be it. I don't really like the jacket. I don't know why I don't understand the jacket. I don't know. Maybe they didn't feel comfortable with their arms showing. I was a little confused. But see, I would have loved this like bat looking like a vampire face on Coco.
Oh, with those ears.
Wing. Yeah. I think that would have been absolutely incredible. As far as the movements, maybe that's all the room they had to do this. I don't know.
Yeah, but maybe. But I still feel like at some point you gotta branch out and do something else, girl. Like, I don't know.
And again, it's hard to judge. Like you said at the beginning, it's hard to judge those type of things only because you have to do it multiple times, and then they cut and paste and show what they want. So maybe that was the only footage they showed. So I don't know too much about that.
Maybe,
but as far as the looks, which we can all see the looks. I don't. There's just little things on there I would have edited, but I love the face. I think the face makeup was so fun and so great. I feel like there's a reason they're not showing too much of Jade right now, and I think that's in my truest. And I have no clue what's going on. But normally in like reality TV formats, they don't show the person that is going home. Like the person that lasts a little bit longer, they don't really focus on them till later because they're gonna be focused on them a lot later. So I feel like maybe just from the edit alone, I feel like Jade might be going further. And that's why we really haven't gotten to see much of her, talk to her. So I don't know.
I felt like the only thing
I don't
that
like the
made
boots,
sense
by the way. I hate the boots.
Yeah, no, I hate the boots. I think that the boots and the jacket were her way of trying to be like a greaser,
maybe like
of the time period, like a rockabilly kind of thing. But like, go bigger with that if you need to. You know, I don't know. So then we have Zavaleta, who sexy in this one. I loved Zavaleta in this episode.
Yeah, she's back with a vengeance this time around, girl.
See, but you know what would work really well with... Okay, so I know we were talking about Hoso's RHAP. I actually think the RHAP would have worked with Zava with this. Because it's so glamorous at the beach that I feel like, okay, you know what? I could actually see your character wearing this to the beach and then relaxing poolside somewhere with you take it off.
So basically, take Bitter Betty's, give it to Hoso. Give it to Zavaleta. Gotcha. Okay. It's just a train.
But
I love the canvas bag. It's like everything is so glamorous, and then you have a canvas bag. Like I'm just like,
she's from New York. This is what we wear.
It's true. It's so true. The canvas bag is legit. It's everywhere.
This is our uniform here in New York City.
It's so funny. Also, those are some high platforms.
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
No wonder she was on the ground for most of the time when she was performing.
No, I didn't. Was there a reveal with her hair? Because I don't remember. I know at one point it's long. So did they? I don't remember ever seeing them take it off.
I don't think there was just a reveal. I think it was just whenever they did the close-ups with her getting her neck bitten. That's when it was long. But I don't think she ever like had a reveal. No.
I actually prefer this over the long hair. Because I feel like this just it was a totally different character. We've all seen long hair before, but this was just so beautifully done. She's beautiful. Her makeup was just always stunning and lovely. But again, stage presence, I feel like she was like, I have to prove myself, and I think she did, and she did really, really well.
I don't know why, but there were aspects of her face that she was like, it reminded me of Priyanka from Canada's Drag Race. Like there were like little moments that she would do with her face when she was looking glamorous, when Priyanka would be like not in comedy mode, but like glamour mode, that I was getting some of that. And I was like, oh, but it was just, and then I couldn't shake it for the rest of the time. But I just felt like she was so gorgeous and really put in the effort to match Saint's sexy energy, and really good job.
Yeah.
No, I thought she was hilarious during this. I mean, she was the one I was referring to when she was like checking on like the burgers in the grill, like the whole performance. I thought that she was just so funny. And then yes,
so good.
Her with Saint was just mesmerizing. I was like kind of getting turned on watching. So yeah, I think the two of them were definitely the standouts of this performance, if I do say so myself.
I also want to just bring up one other thing that I thought was an important aspect, is that where another reason why this show in production, I believe, is better than Drag Race is because you get the Boulet Brothers purposely asking her about her practicing the lip sync in English in the mirror. And we have had many queens on Drag Race, for example, who have, English is their second language, a lot of the Latin queens, and they come on, and sometimes with challenges in particular, things aren't translated as well, or there's like just little loss in translation, or their lip sync isn't as crisp, and they get called out for it. And I like that instead of getting called out for it here, we're openly having that conversation of her putting in the effort outside of the show, that what we can see, to work hard at it, but also recognizing that, English is not, their first language. So let's celebrate that by paying homage to that. And it was a small moment, but it was one that really, like, I thought was important, especially to her character and what she's bringing to the show.
Right. Totes.
Wonderful. Let's talk about Mary Cherry. We kind of already did with the anglerfish, but here it is in all its glory. Fins but here's the thing: if you're gonna be an anglerfish, give me teeth. There's no teeth, like a necklace of teeth. Put teeth up here. I don't care if there's no teeth.
Yeah, I was like, I didn't know what was gonna happen when they did that little judging thing, and they specifically brought up Mary. I was like, oh, because at first I thought that she was gonna go home, but then when they did that, I was like, okay, is this them excusing her behavior? Like, what's going on here? Because I got that, everything that they said that they got from her, I got that watching. And I was like, oh, she's like, has a bit of a little attitudinal problem. What's going on? Like, is this not her day? Like, did somebody on set piss her off? Like, I just feel like she was just not there. And so it distracted me, and it made me hard to enjoy her performance. I think the look is fine. I think it's great. I think the angler, vampire of the sea, definitely, she should definitely use that for the future. But yeah, I was a little disappointed because she's another girl that talks a lot of game, and it doesn't always register. I did like what the judges were saying though about like how you need to just come here and forget about your legendary status, because typically you have queens that come on shows like these that do have a reputation from wherever they come from, and they do feel like that's going to carry them through. And then when they do fail, it's like, oh my god, maybe they're not all they're cracked up to be. It's like, no, that's not always the case. It's not that they're not what they're cracked up to be. It's that you are in a situation that is outside of where you are cracked up to be. So just forget about that and be here. Don't worry about New York. Don't worry about Chicago.
Rely on your talent, not on your legacy.
Exactly. Because you got the legacy for a reason. So show us that, So I appreciated that they had that perspective for it.
Jaremi, what are your thoughts on Mary here?
So, so I think this is what it looked like to me, and I don't know, but this is just what it looks like. So I think she already had this outfit, and I think she was like, "Oh shit, I'm going on the show. They want me to have like I need to have an at the beach look. Let me just take this bodysuit I already have and make an anglerfish. So I have this flashlight. Let me put it on my head, and we're good." Like that's what to me it looks like she did, because it's not what beach are you seeing this at? You know what I mean?
It's a
like
deep sea one too, so it's not like it's even going to be near the beach.
So, like, what's happening here? And then, you know what? I know we talked about her Coco, who was their partner. that the outfit was it was a dance leotard. She's performed in it probably, and but it was fine because it was a leotard. It was something you would wear to the beach.
Yeah,
you're not wearing this to the beach, and so
I mean, well, she lives in the sea.
I
Okay?
can't wait to go to the Rockaways and see everybody in this.
Can you imagine? It just, I do agree that something they obviously did set that up for Mary to stay. I don't know why. I do think Mary should have been in the bottom for this one.
It's 2 weeks in a row. I feel like Mary should have been in the bottom.
Yeah, I just don't understand. Maybe there's something that they're not showing us, which I feel like they should be that we're not seeing. But I didn't get it. And if my automatic, strip the costume away and everything like that, my automatic thing that would have put her in the bottom for me was the stage presence and how you just looked at your partner on stage and were added just like disgust, like, bitch, what the fuck are you doing? Like, that to me is just so unprofessional. No matter what, whether you're on TV, whether you're on a real stage, whether anywhere, that to me that's bottom to standards for me. Yeah.
I agree. We have Saint, weird still of Saint here, but I loved the like little bat wings on the floaties of Aman. You were smiling. What are you thinking about Saint here?
I also loved the bat wings on the floaties. Just fly me away. I love it. No, like I said, her with Zavaleta. They were the standouts for me. I thought that they understood the assignment. They took notes and they said, we're gonna be in the front. I'm gonna bite your neck. You're gonna bleed. We're gonna make out. We're gonna go forth water. We're at a beach party. That means we're gonna get some, okay? And they got some, and yes,
and they got themselves a win out of it too.
Yes, they did.
Jaremi, I have to ask, how do you feel about the pumps of this outfit?
So again, it goes back to that era and that the pumps match. So I'm not mad at that. I'm obsessed with this. This looks like something I would see in like a 90s comic growing up. Like I would have loved to be this villain. It looks incredible. I mean, put some bat wings on the shoes, maybe, I don't know, at the end, and that would have tied it in. And it's funny is we all have that one pair of pumps, like a performers that like we always wear. You could just take magnets as a little trick. You could take a magnet, like an industrial one, and put it on the side, and then you can just attach whatever you want on the side of your heel, and it stays there. So,
that's so good. Look at that insider trick here.
So that way, it just attaches. But I fucking love this. Even the silhouette, and I think I may be wrong, but I thought Saint started off the silhouettes, and it was just the iconic shape was just like it was already there. So I didn't even need to see what they looked like. That person already just looked good to me. I didn't know who it was yet.
You're like, done.
Yeah, I was just like, because they got it, but Saint has always known what their body shape like requires to look great and stuff, and like they know their face, they know what's gonna look great. They're so smart. And
Saint's a New York queen, right?
Unless they just moved here. They were in Georgia, I believe.
Georgia, okay.
Yeah.
I think that they have Harlem as their like on their page or whatever. So I wonder if they moved here like in the pandemic or something like that.
Maybe.
But it made me excited because I was like, yay, I might be able to get to see Saint live.
No, yeah, I love this. And again, the stage presence was just, you know what, maybe that's why they showed Zaba and Saint the entire time, is because they had the most stage presence. Now, again, that stage, what they're standing, it's like an H. So in the back, what you guys are seeing right now is the back of the H where they have to walk through. And then that little tiny platform she's on leads to the other row. And they were all piled on that. So in my mind, just because I've been here, I bet you that Saint and Zaba had more room to work with those props, so they could get up and down and play with it. So they kind of had an advantage right there. But their stage presence was just killer. Them and Hoso and Dolly were those were the two for me.
They were the two pairs that really just killed it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So our last queen to talk about is Sigourney Beaver. Again, her partner ends up going home. She's safe though. I felt like all around pretty safe. I still don't know how I feel about the like leggings and stirrups kind of.
It's a choice.
But
I think it's more pen-uppy than it is beach. I mean, it's
Yeah.
like lingerie pen-up, not beach pen-up.
right.
Yeah.
Like if she had like little bloomers with the little ruffles on it, then I think that would be different than
How
like that,
adorbs.
right? Yeah. So
Mhm.
Also,
I
it
don't
was
know.
giving me mega shoes and socks vibes, and I didn't like that.
Is there pink on this? I can't tell because of the photo. Did they? I thought it was just a two-piece with the bat on the
It's
front.
a two-piece, and like the pink that you're seeing, I'm pretty sure is just her skin with this filter.
She got. Oh, okay. Was she painted pink?
I think she was painted slightly pink, like she was sunburned,
Oh.
because they put all that sunscreen on her as like her
As a
that was-
vampire?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
No, sorry, that was Betty and Jade. My apologies. Sigourney, they just drank blood and kissed each other.
I forgot about Bitter. I forgot about their wig falling off.
Yeah, Bitter's wig fell off. Ooh, it's like the one thing that you're known for.
Wait, who was the one that got the sunscreen smeared all over their bald head? Was that
That was Betty.
That was
because
Bitter.
the wig was-
Yeah, but you know what? But thinking about it, if they made it look like a reveal instead of like, because Nosferatu's bald, they could have actually played with that and then put the sunscreen on the head because
That
their head
would've
has
been
never
kinda
seen
cool.
light. Then that would have made more sense to me instead of
Yeah.
just like, oh shit, like.
right?
This is
Yeah.
it reminds me, like I said earlier, it reminds me of like a little like Monster High doll. Like it's cute.
Yeah.
It matches it.
I liked your makeup.
She always looks great.
Yeah.
Yeah, she always looks clean, like you said earlier.
I don't, if I'm gonna be honest with you, and I just watched the episode about 2 hours ago, I don't remember her performance.
Yeah.
So
Which in
She
this
had,
episode
like,
is a compliment.
She had like a little special moment at some point, like drinking blood. That's what I remember the most. Other than that, it's giving very much like Amy Winehouse on the beach. That's what I'm getting.
That's a good comparison, I think. Very good. But those were the looks for the first 2 episodes. And the only other things that I think that are important to cover are, first of all, I'm so into blood right now.
I'm so into
Thank
blood right now.
you. I was waiting for it.
I'm so into blood right now.
I
love that she did that.
I
love that
want
she
to
did
borrow
that.
your outfit. Can I borrow? I was gonna ask if I could borrow the outfit. Like, I mean, I was just like 2 Beths up on stage. That was a little too much. But it was also just enough. I don't know.
I love that she was able to make fun of herself and like be in on the joke and be like, "Oh yeah, I did kind of sound so white girlish." Oh my god, like I just love that she was able to do that, because Vanessa Hudgens this past year, man, she has been on some shit. I'm still recovering from that video of her like at the beginning of the pandemic being like, "Oh, like even if people get it, like people are gonna die inevitably, right?" So, oh wow,
Oh my god, I forgot she did that.
She's on a journey.
I forgot. Well, she's really into blood right now.
She's really into blood
she's
right
a work
now.
in progress. Okay.
I want her to show up as a guest judge on every
Everything.
competition reality show. Like, could you imagine her? They fly her out to like help co-host like a Survivor competition. She's like, I'm so into hunger right now. Like, it's just like,
my God.
So into sand right now.
I'm so into sand right now. Oh, I like now bring her into Big Brother. Like, she's on the thing. She's like, I'm so into isolation right now. Like, I'm so into vetoes. Like, everything. Just trot her out because it'd be so great.
I'm here for it.
Anything else that you all want to cover or chat about from these first 2 episodes? Any lingering last thoughts?
No, I'm so glad that you asked me to be a part of this, because I probably would not have been watching had you not asked, and I'm thoroughly invested in watching every Tuesday to see what happens. So I'm excited
Tuesday,
for the rest of the season. Tuesday, Wednesday. I'm excited for the rest of the season, and then we'll see. You know, I'm excited to come back at the end and talk about it.
Yeah, absolutely. Jeremy, what are your thoughts so far?
I mean, like I said before, I'm a huge fan of Dragula. I hope everybody watches it. I'm happy because as an artist in that realm, it's nice to see a show cater to more than one style of the art form, and it's nice to see women getting a platform, trans women getting a platform, you know, non-binary. It just the list goes on, and it's just really, really cool to see them break down a lot of walls and boundaries with this show. So I hope more people go out and watch it. And yeah, this show is hard this season. I don't want to shit on other seasons because I feel like a lot of people are like, oh, well, it's the best cast. Like everyone says that, but I genuinely feel like this is probably their strongest cast they've had so far. Like, because everybody is like a fucking star, and they're all so different in what they do that it's like, I'm really, really into it. So yeah,
and they all really bring wonderful entertainment both on and off the stage, and so that's what I think is really fun. So I'm excited to see what happens. I know that next week is the Wild West theme, and I do know some insider tea about that, but all it is who's the judge, and that's or guest judge. I don't know why I was saying it like as if I knew other things.
Not you hyping yourself up for nothing.
I was like, ha. It's the most Leo thing I've done tonight. But no, Trixie Mattel and Orville are going to be the two guest judges. So I think that'll be really fun. But I can't wait. It looks like they'll have another rock competition in a couple weeks. They do for Aman, they do a rock challenge every season. I'm still
like rock
thinking
music.
And I still think about Landon Cider every night. From the rock challenge every night. Haunted. So, but I hope that you all continue to enjoy Dragula. We will come back after the finale to cover the entirety of the rest of the season and the season finale. We won't do an in-depth break of all the looks and such. We'll just do that for the finale when we get back. But thank you both so much for joining me on this couple of hours tonight to break down the first couple of episodes. If you would like to become a patron, please go to robhasawebsite.com. You will or to patreon.com/robhasawebsite. RHAP, actually. I think it's just RHAP there. Please become a patron and support all of the wonderful content that we have at Rob Has a Podcast, whether you're enjoying content like this or Survivor, Big Brother, 90 Day Fiance, anything in between like that. We all have wonderful content with wonderful benefits for all of the patrons to support and join. We also want to give mega thanks to Scott St. Pierre behind the scenes. And also, please give us our 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcasts. Click that subscribe button on YouTube, and we will see you in a couple months' time. Bye, everybody.